This is Rockin' J Farrier. Today we're out here looking at this colt, going to see what we can do to correct him a little bit. He's got a kind of starting like a club foot. So the vet looked at him and he's been sore in the toe, and he's got some flair coming down here like a club foot, and then his heels are pretty tall. So the vet suggested putting a shoe on, and I've trimmed him quite a while ago, so I didn't know how big he was going to be. So at home, conveniently in my shop where it's pretty nice, I cut down a couple of shoes and didn't know for sure what size, because that's a pony shoe there. I didn't know if he was really small still or if he'd grown. Then I grabbed another one and cut it off just a little longer. And then this one I cut off, I think, I've looked at it, I think this one will be about right. And it's a Kirkhart triple aught, and they run a little longer than your regular triple aughts. So this shoe I think would be the one we'll use, and we'll see if we can get him trimmed up. He hasn't been trimmed that much, so he's pretty good with his feet, but we'll see how it goes. All right, mister, and this horse, his name is Charlie, for Charlie Brown. But in my business, it's a Charlie horse, because the guy gets Charlie horses every now and again. So I haven't really looked at this. So he's got, the heel is a little high here. Of course, the frog's long, and that toe has flared out. And he's probably not going to let me put that between my knees. I can just tell already. So we'll come in here and clean this out a little bit. You're all right, buddy. You're all right. Just get that. You want to lay down? All right. Get that frog adjusted a little bit. And he's a little bit, definitely a little long in the heel. Just trim this one-handed. I'm not going to fight him. Putting it between my knees. And a lot of people wonder, how come I do that with one hand? Because I can. Okay. That toe is really, the toe is really flared forward, which I'm going to take care of. Maybe that shoe will be small enough, I don't know. We'll give him that for just a second. And then we'll get that flair taken back here. Okay, so I'll need to, we'll narrow that up a little bit. See how that looks. Yeah. I'll need to narrow it just a hair more. Get it outside in. So we'll have all this flair. We'll get the shoe set and all that flair will come off the front. Are you going to lay down? Huh? Well, that's the first nail he's ever had put in his life. Come here. You're bending my nail, buddy. Now if you're trying to hold that between your knees and he's bouncing around like that, it gets pretty tough. Come here. What's that nail? That's the one he bent. Moving. And on that small of a shoe, 2 nails on each side will hold it, because we'll want to reset it fairly regular. Now I'll come in, knock that flare off of that club foot. You can get a shot of that right there. You got to clean it up, but that's got some of that flare off, and then I'll get the rest of it cleaned up there. Yeah, it looks like he's had, you can look right here, looks like he's had a little trauma in that foot. He's got, this is growing down quite a bit since here, but he's got that little spot right there, so he had some kind of trauma, and he's got this wrinkly part right here. So something happened, he stepped on something or had something happen to him right here. But now he's grown this much good foot clear down to here, so that's probably 5-6 months ago. And then this will eventually grow down. Now, as a rule, I know a lot of guys will come in and they'll rasp all of this off and rasp it clear down to where it's totally smooth, and you'll have no wrinkles, no nothing, and it'll be really smooth and pretty looking. But for me, while I'm working on this foot, I want to always be able to see that history, because that's a history of his foot right there. How this has grown to here, how it's been wrinkled and flared out here, and I want to be able to see that, so that as I'm working on this horse, I'll be able to see this gradually progress until finally, when this is down to the bottom and this crack is gone, I will be able to see it progress by not rasping all of that off. And plus, rasping this outside finish off takes a periopal finish off the outside of the foot and dries it back. Like this right here where I took this off, that part of the hoof will actually dry back and shrink back behind that shoe. So I don't want this hoof to get dry and shrink. I want it to stay good and healthy, and I'm just taking off just what I need to straighten it up. So that's my thoughts on that. Now we've just got to tighten this down a little. And clinch it. Maybe take just a touch there. Like I say, I don't like to get too wild about rasping. That's got him sitting a little better with that foot. And the next time it'll grow out a little bit more, and we'll be able to straighten it just a little bit more. But anyway, this is Rockin' J Farrier. Until next time, keep one ear on the ground and your eyeball peeled, and don't believe everything you hear and only half of what you see, except for what I show you.